Ciao everyone and welcome back to Crave Italy, where Italy meets America and tradition meets the future. Today we are talking about something we all think about, how we age and how science is helping us understand it in a new way. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better, feeling stronger, and learning what really happens inside ourselves over time. Our guest today is Dr. Andrea Cipriano from Stanford University. One of the researchers study how our cells age and how one day we might even slow down or partly reverse the process. Join me from Milano is Iacopo Gori, our correspondent from Corriere della Sera. Let's begin. Benvenuti a Crave, che meraviglia, dottor Cipriano
Thank
e
you.
dottor Gori. Andrea, what is aging really? You often talk about the difference between chronological aging, the time that passes, and biological age, what happens inside our cell, right? How will you explain the difference in simple terms?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question because this question, if it happens to be, it seems to be simple, it's actually extremely complicated because the biggest challenge in the field, it's actually this question. Because despite, everyone is able to recognize who is the older and who is the younger person in a picture, it's pretty obvious to us. Actually giving a biological definition to aging, it's very complicated because there is not a clear, we call it phenotype in science, a clear sign, a clear measurement. So many scientists over the years actually try to give like a definition to this very fascinating concept. Now, if we go Google, we say aging, the definition that we have is the process of becoming older. Now, it's obvious, but it doesn't help us scientists because if we want to fix aging, we need to define this molecular process. So to give you a simple question, what we can say, and you already touched the two extremely interesting topics, chronological and biological. And again, as you said, chronological is just time. So we cannot fix that. It's the amount of time that has passed from our birth. So it's measured in months, years. Biological age is something much more interesting because people have recognized that despite two people can have the same chronological age, their biological age might be different. And when I say biological age, I mean the damage that has happened like to our body. So the way I explain this to my students is that let's pretend we have 100 coins, no? So this is the amount of coins that we have. And coin is our like youthness. So we can actually spend this coin extremely quickly, so we can aging very fast, or we can kind of spend them much more slower. So these coins represent actually our health and the damage that is happening in our cells. So the slower we spend them, the actually slower we are actually decay. Okay, we are actually going toward this like degradation process that at the end is biological age.
You made a very suggestive description. I want to ask you, which is exactly the fields in where you work? I mean, which is actually your field of study, and what are you doing in practical for treating patients, or what else?
So yeah, another good question. So what, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term epigenetics. So basically, just to give you a simple like explanation, our cell, they have like the DNA, which is kind of this like book, no, of recipes. If we were a restaurant, our DNA would be the book of recipes. So we have all the information that we need to live and to make like proteins and to actually develop. Now, epigenetics, it's basically how the pages are actually open and closed. So what we know is that during aging, there is a kind of accumulation of like damage in the way the DNA is used. So in the long run, we start using the DNA less efficiently. And this is a very oversimplistic definition of aging. It's a epigenetic process. So the more we live, the more we are exposed to like environment, stress, sleep deprivation, our daily life stressors, I would say, our epigenome start to accumulate in damage. And what I study in Stanford is, first of all, what this damage means molecularly. And the second, which is like my second field of research, is actually how we can revert it. Because we were able to prove that by modifying the epigenome, we can actually reverse the age of a cell. This was already done. We can make cells younger, But from that to make people younger, there is a huge like gap. So what I'm studying in details is especially the immune system, which is basically how we can use genetic techniques to actually revert the aging in the immune system and make our immune system younger, because immune system is what protects us. Inflammation, there is so much evidence showing that one of the biggest like responsible system in aging is the immune system. Older people, and COVID also gave us a great example, no? The reason why most of the people died because of COVID and the age was like more than 70 is because our immune system is weaker, is not able actually to respond to the external stressor that in this case was like virus. So to give you a simple definition, I study aging, how we age, how we can revert aging, and particularly focusing on our fighters, so in our immune system.
Andrea, sorry, you are just in a great university in Stanford, one of the best universities in the world, and you are doing a theoretical study or also a practical study. I mean, I want to try to be clear, more clear. You have an idea that, because it's very fascinating what you are telling us. Do you think really we could be in a time that someone can fix his biological age and revert, as you told us? I mean, do you think it's a sort of magic idea, you know, or is something that you are really experimenting right now?
So first of all, to address your question, basically you asking me if I do basic or translational research. So I think both of them are extremely important, because intervening and developing intervention, it's of course the end goal. So I'm trying to apply longevity intervention, but on the other side, if you want to fight an enemy, you need to know the enemy. And aging, it's a very mysterious process. So there is a lot of pressure, especially in the Bay Area, because I'm also like in a very like intense geographical place where there is actually a lot of like push and press to actually fighting aging. And there are many companies, many biotech that have actual goal to develop intervention. But all these companies are kind of stuck sometimes, because as I was saying before, if you cannot know properly how aging work, how to measure aging, it's very difficult to fight it. And I'm also part of this called the Biomarkers of Aging Consortium, which is a very no-profit organization that we developed 2 years ago. And with the Biomarker of Aging Consortium, we're actually trying to push the field to develop biomarkers. Because if you cannot measure aging, you can have 1,000 of intervention, you're not gonna see like a result. So my research is oriented to be translational, but we are in an era where we need to take a step back. I think we should actually study and understand the phenomena in order to have better like therapies. And Iacopo, if you think about cancer has been known in the field for hundreds of years, and still, despite we know what cancer is, we know the molecular mechanism of most of the cancer, finding a therapy, it's challenging. There is not already there are a lot of like advancement, I would say, in cancer therapy, thank God, but still, we're still fighting this enemy. I think with aging is even more difficult, because aging affects all our cells, our heart age, our liver age, our immune system age. So we face a multifactorial complex. So it's extremely difficult to develop a magic pill that can fix everything. And that's why everyone is focusing on a specific dimension of aging.
Your lab connects aging with early development and reproduction. Why does studying how life starts help us to understand how it ages?
And this, I have to say, this is the research of Vittorio Sebastiano, who is basically the professor that used to work with me. Now he moved to Irvine. But yeah, that's actually another great point. So I think reproduction is the evidence that aging is reversible. If a person that is 30 years old have a baby, the egg of this person is 30 years old, but the newborn that's generated is actually 0 here. So reproduction is the evidence that conceptually aging is a reversible phenomena. And epigenetics, and I always go to epigenetics, it's actually all the mechanisms that allow us to form an individual from one cell. No? So one of the most fascinating phenomena, I think, in the life is how life is generated. No? From a sperm and an egg, they fuse together, they make one single cell called the zygote, and this single cell goes into an incredible and super fascinating process called development, which allow us to form an individual. Now, from birth to like death, development stops and aging starts, but the mechanisms are the same. So we can think that development, it's kind of aging is a continuation of development, no? And going back to the lifespan and health span situation, so people most of the time think, so lifespan is how many years we live, no? Health span is how many years we live healthy. So in Italy, but in the world in general, the average age now is maybe 80, 85. I think Italy also has one of the most is one of the one of the places with highest longevity. There is like Blue Island in Japan, in Italy, but still health span, it's not increasing as lifespan. What do I mean? That a person from 85 to 95 is not gonna be healthy. So the goal of studying aging and developing anti-aging intervention is not allowing us to live forever. It's allowing us to live healthier. Because if my system it's healthier, what I can obtain in the long run is that I'm gonna have a less disease and healthier life, and I'm gonna reach like 90 years old being like more in shape, no? More like healthy. So reproduction and aging are actually two phenomena that are extremely connected within each other. I wouldn't divide them. I think they are a continuation, no? We form, we are born, and that's when usually aging starts, no? People also, they don't know when we are starting to age, after 30, after 1. So I think it's a continuous phenomena. And also our biology, it's programmed. So we are programmed actually to reproduce ourselves. So after the reproduction window, I think also the evolution started like to let it go, no? So it's a kind of a phenomena that accumulates over time. So reproduction and aging are kind of the same phenomena, if we could say that. Just different evolution.
I know your research focuses on the epigenetic reprogramming, the
Yeah.
idea of turning back some sign of aging in the cell without erasing their identity, right? What does it actually mean to reprogram a cell?
Yeah, let me take a step back because it's connected actually to the question about delaying and reversing aging. These are two different concepts, no? Delaying aging, it's already possible. If you have a healthy lifestyle, if we take enough supplement, if you like, so there are ways of healthy lifestyle that can allow us to age slower, okay? Now, reversing aging is something much different. It's like going back. Instead of delaying the passage of time, it's taking a pushback. And epigenetic partial reprogramming, it's a genetic techniques, gene therapy techniques that was actually developed many years ago. So basically Yamanaka, that was like, he's a scientist that was awarded actually with the Nobel Prize in medicine, discovered that if we take an old cell, okay, so we take a cell from a 90-year-old person, and we give to these cells some genes that are pieces of DNA that are able to make a protein and to exert a function. If we give these genes over time, the fibroblast is able to become an embryonic stem cells. So it go all the way back until like the zygote almost. So the cells that develop. So it's basically, it goes all the way up. And this is like reprogramming. And I don't know if you've heard about iPSCs or maybe like stem cell research. iPSCs are basically stem cells generated with these techniques. So old cell, I overexpress this gene and I make basically an embryonic-like cells whose age is 0. Now, this is amazing, and it's open all the stem cell research because there are a lot of potential of having embryonic stem cells from our cells, because we can use them for many purposes, not to make new heart, new organs, and it's another field. But what people thought, and I mean, the lab I worked when I joined Stanford was the first one, Professor Sebastiano was the first one to do this in human. The idea was like, okay, but what if I provide some of these genes long enough to rejuvenate the cells, but not too long so the cells doesn't go all the way back, okay? And this is partial reprogramming. So what we are doing, we are trying to take an old cell, giving some of this magic factor just for a certain amount of time and in a certain amount to actually clean the epigenetic signature of aging, but maintaining the cell identity, because a fibroblast needs to remain a fibroblast. A skeletal muscle needs to stay a muscle. If we overexpress too much, we make problem, we make cancer, we can go. Embryonic stem cells are very weird cell types. So the rationale behind the technique that you just asked me about, partial reprogramming, is actually doing this, trying to remove the mark of aging, so rejuvenating the cells, so going back in biological age without losing cell identity, because cell identity is extremely important. A muscle cell needs to be a muscle. If I change cell identity, I'm going to make a cancer cell. So cancer cells lose cell identity. So it's a very tricky techniques, which of course still very experimental, but is extremely promising for the reason I just explained you.
When you start to make this study, at which point now we are, how many years we need more to be more
translational?
I don't want to, yeah, exactly. Which is the point now of this incredible story?
Yeah, it's a $1 million question. So the short answer is that it depends by funding, by how many people are working on that. The long answer is that, and the more honest answer is that there are several challenges. So just to give you an example, no, I don't know if you guys know Duchenne muscle dystrophy. It's a genetic disease, okay? There is a gene that is not working. It's a very bad disease, affect male, and usually most of the patients, they die when they are 14, 15 years old, okay?
Very young.
And I mentioned it because I was studying muscle dystrophy when I was in Italy doing my studies. So we know the cause. It's just one gene. And we know there is actually a way to correct this gene in the cell. So there is a lot of advancement, but still there is not a therapy that was able to fix. Why? Because we have billions of cells. We have a lot of challenges. So delivery of the factors, for example, every cell needs to be delivered, side effect. So doing a discovery in vitro, it's much easier because we have cells, so we can control them. We work in a plate. So we call them proof of concept. So it's the proof that the system could work. From that one to the patient application, there is a huge, I would say, journey that you want to do. And also technology needs to help us, because technology, in the last 10 years, we had a huge explosion of technology, stuff that we do now today. When I started my PhD 10 years ago, were unbelievable. So science is evolving, but I don't have an answer, because as of today, there are big challenges, and we still need to study and to understand what is happening. Also because, Iacopo, if I have a patient who's about to die in a month, the regulations are more flexible. I can try something because this person is going to die. But if I have a healthy person with 6 years old and wants to be younger, and I give them an intervention, and this intervention is going to induce cancer, it's going to be bad. So there is always the benefit. So I think we are going there, but we need to study the process. We need to develop technology. So as of today, the biggest weapon that we have to fight aging is prevention. It seems obvious. It seems obvious to say, but it's strong. It's amazing. If I can prevent cancer, I'm going to live 10 years more. If I can prevent Alzheimer, I'm going to be healthy. So preventing, having a healthy lifestyle, diagnosing disease very early can give us maybe 10 extra years of life. And there is no intervention in the world that is able to give us this today. But again, of course, the goal for us is to provide something to actually revert like biological age. But it's a long journey, I would say.
Do you think could be, of course, helpful the impact of artificial intelligence in the boosting your research probably this could be a really boost for the kind of study that you're going to do, because you could have a lot of answers more quickly. And second, I think that you as a doctor, as a PhD, as a researcher, as many other in same or similar fields, you are crossing the border that we need to cross between medicine and ethics. Because I think when you put our hand in the cell and the DNA, probably we are going to be in a new field. We are going in a new world, probably.
Absolutely. I think that these are all great questions. You are journalists, so you guys are actually, but you're touching all the sensitive points. So AI, absolutely. AI, it's a revolution. It's gonna change our life. I think AI will have impact on aging also indirectly. And thinking about humanoids. Now in the Bay Area, we have several companies of humanoids. Humanoids are basically robots that can do take care of people, do the work for us. Just with this, our life can be extended because we are less stressed. So I think AI is gonna probably improve human health. Also, if it's not centered in aging, my first comment. Regarding aging, yes, we are starting to use AI in research, but AI performs good if you give to the AI good food. What do I
Of
mean?
course.
The way to work, there is the training phase. So what we need now is to develop good data, which we don't have. And I don't want to touch this topic too much because it's very long. We will need an hour. But what is missing in the aging research is called biological sample from people taken every year. If I can profile Samantha's blood or your blood every year for 10 years, I'm going to have a huge amount of data and of information that I can use to then train the AI. So what we're trying to do with the Biomarker of Aging Consortium is actually to develop longevity study. So monitoring people with wearables. I think wearables are a huge technological discovery that is like changing already our life. But what we need is to integrate biological sample, functional measurement, so aura, whatever, like wearable, putting them together. And then I think the AI is going to be a very powerful tool that can help us informing the study. And the last comment on AI is AI and healthcare, because medicine is going to change. Here is already changing. In 10 years, doctors are going to have a completely different role. AI now is able to diagnose, if supervised properly, much better. So I wouldn't say AI is going to replace doctors,
Of
but
course,
AI
of
is going
course.
to be a Ferrari. It's like having a pilot driving a Ferrari. So this is my comment on AI. Regarding the ethics, this is true for everything in science. I think that bioethics, science is a powerful weapon. It's like a gun, no? You can use a gun to do good, I mean, mostly bad, but let's say to do something good, protecting people, or to harm. Yeah, whether it's a
Knife is
knife,
better. You
exactly, a
can
knife.
cut the
It's a
bread.
better, exactly, it's a better example. So changing the DNA, there are bioethics commitment. There are like bioethics commission that have to approve our research. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Chinese scientist who used CRISPR to develop like baby without approval. He was arrested. So we cannot work in human. I think that improving people's life and changing genes to engineer people are two different concepts, and they shouldn't of course overlap, because if we start going into eugenetics, we are kind of changing the rules. So aging, the goal is not changing people's gene, it's just helping people to actually function better for a longer time. And on the other side, eugenetics is something different. So I think we should be very, very careful. But at the end of the day, our goal is just allow people to be healthier for a longer time, so that like older people can actually live the amount of years that they have left in a healthy state. So this is basically and I think there is nothing wrong ethically in doing this.
And we are very proud of Dr. Andrea Cipriano from Formia to be
Thank
in
you.
California to improve
California.
our aging, to improve Molto orgoglioso.
Thank you, thank you.
Many people hear about way to slow aging from skincare to supplements. Do laser devices or collagen supplements really make a difference, or is that mostly marketing?
What I would say is that it depends what's the goal. So if the goal is to look younger, absolutely. No, if I want to look younger, I can do a lifting, I can apply, there are strategies. But that is not aging, no? I mean, skin aging is something, of course, different. I think, of course, laser, all the like infrared light, collagen, supplement, they're just helper. Are they gonna fix our aging? No. Is there like a cream today in the market able to do that? Not yet. So what cream and supplement does is just to provide ingredients so that our body has everything that it needs to actually slow. Treatment aimed to delay like skin aging are helping us to look younger. No, if you're doing something to my face, I'm not rejuvenating all my body. So I think there is a lot of marketing behind. There is a big marketing because all of us, me included, we want to look young. I do a huge skincare routine every day. So I believe that there is, of course, a huge market behind. There is also a huge interest. There are companies studying skin aging, but we would reach also in that case a solution when a treatment that is actually reversing the age of the cells will happen. What we have today is just stimulating them or stretching them so that we look younger, no? We look better, but everything else is decaying. Yeah, it's deteriorating in the same time. Yeah.
Andrea, what is one simple thing we can do every day to help ourselves stay healthier longer?
So I think sleep is very important. So first of all, sleep. During sleep, there are groups studying actually how sleep works. There is a huge rearrangement, rechargement, trying to go to bed with an empty stomach. Also, eating late and going to bed is not healthy at all. Intermittent fasting, calorie restriction has also shown big like improvement. And when I say calorie restriction, I mean staying 8, 9, 10 hours, 16 hours ideally would be the best. People do actually 24 hours without eating. Because I mean, if we think about a monkey in the jungle, they don't eat 3 times per day. If we think about a lion, no, in the jungle, they don't eat 3 times per day. So our body is actually designed for us to have 1 meal probably per day. So nutrition is a big component. So I would say eating not too much. It's important. Trying to do like calorie restriction as much as possible. Avoid smoking. I mean, I'm telling you obvious things, but these are the ones that are pretty sure to work. Omega-3 and vitamin D3. There are plenty of studies showing that they help the inflammation. So vitamin D3 is super important. Omega-3 are super important. But at the same time, I also want to tell you, first of all, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just giving friendly advice. I don't have the expertise to prescribe or actually these are statements based on my personal opinion I want to disclose. And second, also that, Samantha, we are different. Personalized medicine is important. Maybe what I need, it's different from what you need, no? I am a biological male, I'm 34, so we have different like metabolic because of our sex specificity, our genetic differences. So there are general guidelines, but I think everyone needs a specific plan, and that's why biomarkers are important, and it's also why longevity clinics are starting to develop here a lot, but also something is happening in Italy, because the goal of longevity clinic is actually having people to answer to your super important question by profiling, by giving like biomarker panels. So when I give you something, I know that you need these things because your biomarker are telling me this. Does it make sense?
I feel a little bit younger after this conversation.
In Italy, aging is often seen as something beautiful, tied to wisdom and time. How can science help us rethinking aging without losing the meaning?
Absolutely. Now, as I connecting of what I was telling before, now our goal is just to increase health span. So I care about, I mean, I have my grandparents from my mom's side. I'm very close to them. And this is a great motivation for me. I think aging is of course collection of experience, collection of wisdom. And anti-aging doesn't want us to become baby again. It wants us to keep this wisdom, no, and just reach like healthier, like old age. So I think it's a synergistic connection, no, because we want to fight aging, but so that the people we care about can like old, like slower, but living the same amount of time in the world. So the wisdom is still gonna be there. And regarding what Italy is doing, I mean, research is expensive, and aging is I would say, elite research. It's not very democratic. Well, when I say democratic, I mean there are other priorities in the research, no? Because there is cancer, there are kids dying every day. So I also care about aging. It's really important, but there are also other priorities. So Italy is now starting to move. I was invited last summer to an event that was like co-hosted by the Vatican and a couple of foundations. There was also some people from the politics. They want to do something. So there is of course interest, but the biggest issue, I mean, are money at the end of the day, because aging research is expensive. So you have to be willing. That's why America is big in aging and the Bay Area, because they have money here. So people can invest 100. There are so many companies here where rich donor told them, here, $100 million, find something, enjoy, and experiment. And that's when the innovation starts. But on the other side, Italy has a different, no, I would say, economical and also different approach in research. Universities are struggling because there are no money. There are very few. The Human Technopole, the IT, there are really few like research centers that are like really competitive in the field. So I think Italian scientists are not because I'm Italian, but I think they're used to work under hard conditions, and this helps you. But I think in order to do good like anti-aging research in Italy, there should be a capital investment that I don't think we have yet.
So you will stay in California for many years again.
I mean, I'm learning. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to live here by year. I'm not opposed to evaluate options, but research for me is important. Research for me is my life. I really love what I do, and I want to be able to do that. And I've experienced the research in Italy and the research in the US. I was very lucky. I had a great mentor group in Italy. We got a very big like fund. But I know that researching in Italy is extremely struggling, and our research, Iacopo, is expensive. We spend thousands of dollars every day, cell, medium, antibody. It's expensive. It's really expensive. And in order to do this kind of research, I need an environment that can provide this kind of research.
Of course.
And even in the darkest time, I think America still has like,
the place to be.
Yeah.
Andrea, behind your research, what is your passion? We always close our interview in this way.
Yeah, I mean, my motto is work hard, play hard. So I love my job, but I love life. So I really enjoy. I'm a very social person. I like to go out with my friend. I like going to hikes. There is so many like interesting landscapes here in California to explore. I like exploring, so I'm a very explorer personality. So in addition to work, I am very lucky to have a very nice and big group of friends to actually experience like life here. And yeah, these are like my hobby. Yeah, I don't have anything super fancy, but I like to live life.
Andrea, thank you so much. Iacopo, thank you. And I hope to have you soon.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Grazie, ciao.
Thank you.
This season of Crave Italy is brought to you in partnership with the Consul General of Italy and Italian Culture Institute of San Francisco. With their support, we celebrate tradition, promote the Italian language, and highlight innovation that connects Italy and America. To learn more and explore upcoming events, visit their official websites. And now it's time for l'angolo della lingua italiana. Arianna, a te la parola.
Ciao a tutti e bentornati al 9º episodio di Crave Italy, all'angolo della lingua italiana. This week, we will be tackling the topic of longevità e l'invecchiamento, longevity and aging, with a specific emphasis on the Italian population. Now, As some of you may already know, Italy has a very high life expectancy, and they also contain some of the longest living people in all of Europe, the centenarians. Now, what do Italians do to lead such long lives? Well, there are many factors that influence the process of aging, but the main three that have been specifically associated with Italy include diet, living standards, and healthcare. Now, Italy is known for its dieta mediterranea, the Mediterranean diet, which focuses on eating a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, fish, and most of all, olive oil. These foods have been shown to reduce the risk of chronic diseases, leading to an increased lifespan. Italians also tend to live pretty active lifestyles, focusing on outdoor activities such as walking, which is central to their daily lives. Italy also has public health care, which here in America could be referred to as universal health care. This essentially provides its citizens with widespread access to universal, high-quality care. This, paired with its focus on public health initiatives and prevention, Italy's health sector keeps aging adults in good health, increasing their longevity. Now, that is all for today's classe. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the factors leading to Italy's invecchiamento and longevità. I hope to see you all again next week. Arrivederci!
This segment is brought to you by Mona Lisa Maremonti, a stunning Italian restaurant in San Francisco, California, where tradition meets elegance. Let's take a look.
Welcome in Mona Lisa Maremondi, la vera cucina italiana, autentica, mediterranea. Abbiamo una cucina stupenda con homemade pasta, origine from South Italy, the steakhouse and real seafood fresh. Abbiamo il pesce fresco, qua si mangia all'italiana. Mona Lisa Maremondi 414 Colombo. Vi aspettiamo, buon appetito. Venitemi a trovarmi, grazie.
Alice Bakery Inc. is one of the Crave sponsors, a California-based boutique that celebrates style and self-expression. This wonderful boutique offers an incredible selection of clothing for women of all ages, designed to suit every style, taste, and occasion. At the heart of Alice Bakery Inc. philosophy is the belief that fashion is more than just clothing. It's a way for women to express themselves and feel confident no matter where life takes them.
Thank you to Alice Baker Inc. for supporting this episode. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us and thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and check out our website craveshow.com. Ci vediamo settimana prossima. Grazie a tutti, un abbraccio, ciao!